So question 3, we have our sequences and series question over here. This usually has to do with some sort of sigma notation as well as some sort of problem solving. Also to do with sum of infinity or something along those lines. So question 3.1, if we have sigma here, sigma k equals 2, n is the number over there. We have our geometric equation here and it equals this value. Determine the value of n. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this guy over here. So what we have is we have our n, we have k equals 2, we have 2, 3, k minus 1 equals 5, 9, 0, 4, 6. So what this means is that our first input value for k is 2. So if this was like a table with inputs and outputs, our first value would start from 2, not 1 or 0, but we are plugging in 2 as our first value, and then we'll get our first output being whatever that value is. So I'm just going to calculate the first 2 on my calculator. Because this is geometric, we're going to need the first, let's get the first 3. Because then we're going to have T1, T2, and T3 by plugging in k equals 2 into this equation, ignoring the 59,046. But we're just trying to see what the first 2 values will be. Because sigma is adding up every single number up until this point. So we're trying to see what our last term is in this equation. Let's call n over here, for example. We don't know what that is, but we know that all of these guys added up together add up to 59046. Okay, so the first value we have is 6. So we had 2 times 3, 2 minus 1, and that equaled 6. And then we're going to plug in the next value. When we plug in 3, we have 18. And then the next value is 54. So I put in 2 here. This gave us this term 1. I put in 3 here because that was the next pattern. If we were to just keep plugging in values, then I put in 4 here, over here, and this output here was 54. So that is what this means as far as T1, T2, and T3. And then because it's geometric, we're going to go T3 over T2 equals T2 over T1. So 54 divided by 18 gives us 3 is our ratio, and 18 divided by 6 is also 3. So our ratio for this value is 3. So this is geometric, and this sum is not going up to infinity because there's an endpoint here. They didn't write equals infinity up top. So that means we are using this series equation over there. So I'm just writing it down. Okay. So Sn, they told us equals 59,046. So I'm going to write this here so long. And our a value is the first term that we calculated. So that is our 6 over here. Our r is our ratio. So our ratio in this case is 3. N is what we want. N is what we're trying to calculate. So that guy we're going to keep there, minus 1 over 3 minus 1. So at this stage, we have our a. Our a is our first term once we plugged our 2 into here. We also have our ratio. Our ratio is everything this side. When we went T3 over T2, T2 over T1, the ratio equals 3. So we also have the total, which means at this stage, we can just go ahead and solve for it. So 59,046 times by 2. So 3 minus 1 was 2, and then I moved it up there. And then I'm also going to divide it by 6 because the 6 over here is going to move down to divide there. Okay, so then that leaves us with 3 to the n minus 1 on the next line. I'm going to simplify these. So that guy is there, cancelled. This guy is left with a 3. So I'm going to divide this value by 3. And we are left with 19,682. This equals 3n minus 1. Take the 1 over, we have 19,683 equals 3n. And then if we shift fact this number here on our calculator, we'll get it in terms of 3 to the power of something. And the answer we have here is 3 to the power of 9 equals 3 to the power of n. Great, guys. But we're not done yet. One thing we have to keep in mind when we're at this final stage is that whenever we're dealing with n, there's a common rule that says n minus k, whatever that first bottom point is, plus 1. And we haven't done the plus 1 here. We could have either interpreted the ratio here, considering this is our geometric sequence formula, where we have our a times r to the power of n. We could have either plugged this into our original formula, or at this stage, we just have to go n minus 2, whatever that starting point is at the bottom, plus 1. And that is all that is left here, which means we have prime based it. We have 3 to the 9 equals 3 to the n, which means we can just go 9 equals n minus 1, because that is what we have here if we're working backwards, which means our final answer then at this stage, n equals 10. And then we are good to go. Great. So question 3.2. An equilateral triangle RST with sides of length 12p. Okay, so this is 12p, 12p, and 12p. Equilateral. So they all have 12p. Is drawn. A second triangle is drawn by joining the midpoints of the sides of the first triangle. So that means this equals that, this equals that, that equals this, etc. Okay, of the first triangle. Each triangle thereafter is drawn by joining the midpoints of the sides of the previous triangle as shown on the sketch. And this continues indefinitely, which means that guy equals that guy, and so forth. Indefinitely means it is a sum till infinity. Okay, so 3.2.1, write down in terms of p the length of each side of this second triangle. So this is triangle 1, this is triangle 2. So the fact that this is half the length of that means the length of each side of the second triangle will equal 6p. So this is just helping us get the parts in order to solve the next question, because these are all building up to question 3.2.3. So 3.2.2, calculate in terms of p the perpendicular height of RST over here for 2 marks. So perpendicular height of a triangle in terms of p means we should have at least 2 values. The most common way to get perpendicular height, if we aren't working with area, which we aren't working with area yet because that's only coming up here, is to do Pythagoras. So we have a hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 12p, and we also have 1/2 of RS because these are midpoints, which means that R up until here is 6p because the other 6p is on that side, which means we are dealing with a right-angled triangle over here, which means we have 12p squared minus 6p squared equals our perpendicular height, which means we have 144p squared minus 36p squared equals perpendicular height squared. So once we simplify that, our final answer for our perpendicular height is 6 third 3. I simplified these, I square rooted them, and therefore I was left with this value for our perpendicular height. So at this stage, 3.2.3, we are going to use everything that we've used in these previous questions in order to solve this. So it is telling us, show that the sum of the areas of all the triangles formed will not exceed this value, will not exceed that value. So remember that this question started with indefinitely, which means this is a sum to infinity. A sum to infinity is something like this guy. But that means in order for this, we need to calculate our A and our R, because we're trying to calculate the sum of infinity and compare it to this value. Ultimately, I think we're going to get this value, but what we're trying to do is get an A, get an R, and then plug it into our sum of infinity formula. So the area of our first triangle, we have the perpendicular height. We have this guy. So area of triangle 1 is half base. The base is 12p times perpendicular height. We have the perpendicular height that is 6 third 3. Great. So then the area of triangle number 2, we need to deal with that. But a reminder that everything is a midpoint of the previous thing, which means these guys are going to end up being halves of each other, which means we have a half 12p divided by 2. And then this guy becomes 3 third 3 because we divide the 6 by 2 and therefore it ends up being 3 third 3. So remember, we only need an A and an R. So at this stage, we have our A value. We can just simplify it, calculate it. So we are going to solve that and we're going to solve that or simplify it as far as we can. And then we are going to plug in our A value, plug in our R value, and then compare it to our S of infinity. So this first value is 36p third 3. And the second value is 9p third 3. So we have our A value. So our S of infinity is over here. Our A is 36p third 3. And then our bottom here, well, we need to get it because we first need to calculate our R, because our R is the difference between these two things. So we take 2. We got 9p third 3 over t1, 36p third 3. So reminder that this was t2 over t1 equals this. Put this guy over that guy, and then we are going to solve for it. So p over p is cancelled. Third 3 over third 3 is cancelled. 9 over 36 is 1 over 4, which means we can simplify this here as 1 over 4. Okay, and at this stage, I realized I left out my p over here. I saw that we were going for a 48 surd 3 p squared, but I forgot to write down the p here, which means I was going to miss a p over here and not get this p over here. So that just meant I had to update a couple of things. The thing that was missing was just the h. So the h value, this guy had a p and this guy had a p, which means these became p squareds. So a square over here and a square over here. So they still cancel out in the ratio, but then it just means there's a p squared here for our a. So at this stage, we can just simplify 36p squared surd 3. We want the surd 3, we want the p squared, which just means I need to simplify the bottom denominator and simplify it with the 36, and that should give us a 48 over there. And 36 divided by 1 minus 1 over 4 does give us 48p squared surd 3, or I can just move it differently, which means we have 48 surd 3 p squared. And this means this is our final answer because we showed that the sum of the areas of all the triangles formed will not exceed this value. And it doesn't exceed this value, so we just earned another 5 marks there. Cool. So let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.